is not me.
The Constitution gives government, we the people give government the power to protect the borders, because if you can't protect your borders, then your life, liberty, and property are at risk. This is just historical. The hordes come in, Genghis Khan comes over, and somebody's got to protect the border. We could do it individually, but under our system, we hire people, train people, we build an army, we delegate the authority to the state to protect the borders of the state.
It sounds like a lot of war to me.
This is on the border.
I'm asking, is there any value? Let's say this law is
No,
terrible.
no, no. I'm walking them through. We'll get to all you guys. Don't worry about it.
Is there any value to having a sovereign state with borders that are protected?
It hasn't demonstrated itself to me yet.
Okay, so you would live in a borderless miasma.
It hasn't demonstrated itself to me yet, because this entity that's supposed to defend the border is the one stealing the money from me.
I understand the stealing the money part. That's corrupt.
So until they get that, you know, I'm like, I want to seal the border so that they can only steal from me? I mean, so they don't have to give it to somebody else, so they can do all the stuff that they're doing and control this entity? I mean, you know, they're not even addressing this.
Please explain that logic.
When you have an entity that comes up and they say, hand me one of those shirts. Here, we're going to do a raffle for these shirts, okay?
The question is about the nation states.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay.
Go ahead and start passing. Okay. Please don't get them messed up or go ahead and start passing those shirts around. Terry, would you take those shirts and just start passing them around so they can see this graph? We just finally got around to making shirts at Freedom's Phoenix Workshop, so man, we're rocking and rolling. You know, it's we'll work for freedom, Freedom's Phoenix, and it has a chart on the back. Government doesn't work, I want my money back. Okay? Now the graph, the reason I did it this way, when you look at them, you'll see that there's a line that goes from here to here, and it says government promises. These are the promises that you're talking about. We have a compelling interest, wherever that is, for the state. I don't screw the state. The only thing about their compelling interest is me. It's not about the state, okay? So you go, the compelling interest of the state. These are the promises that they make us. This is 1789, the Constitution started. Here's 2012. Now here, this line that goes like this, that's individual freedom. It takes a hit, you know, the Civil War, federal income tax, and the Fed. We have, you know, the Great Depression. Hits 9/11, and it just drops off. This gap between the promise of government and what the reality is to individual freedom, that is the revolution gap. When that gap gets large enough, you have a revolution every single time throughout history. So the promise that you're saying, government promises, well, isn't there some benefit to having the government do the border? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. So what are they doing inside this country? Are they defending me? And they say the compelling interest is that these people from on the other side of the border are taking some of the money that we stole from you. And I'm going, you don't even address the stealing from me part. I don't give a crap what happens on the border. You know, get the stop stealing part, then we'll worry about that. That's my point. Go ahead.
But anytime you have a government, you're going to be giving up individual freedom, right?
That's kind of my point. That's why it says an anarchist A and back.
So what you're saying is, let's go for utopia, and we're all going to be good citizens, get along with each other without any agreement, any social norms, any whatever. And you say you don't see any evidence, but Texas has their own driver's license. Why don't you have a Texas driver's license here if it's not significant?
You know, if that's the kind of things that laws are passing, and advocating and doing that, and say we're going to defend the borders of Arizona.
Don't forget the border of Arizona. They're saying we're protecting the sovereignty of Arizona, the integrity.
Why? See, this is the one. It's a generational thing. I've noticed this. Okay, you'll say the sovereignty of anything but the individual. You don't even mention the individual. It's always the state or the government or the country or the red-blue team or the you know, whatever.
Alan referred to it slightly. It's we gave the government this power.
No, we didn't. They
told you.
The only authority the police department has is because we had it.
Do Russell then Chris. No, go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish.
That's it. That's my understanding.
Okay. Go ahead, Russell.
Ernie, I agree with you. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. I can't take the time to say what I don't.
thing is, you give me the impression that, you know, you don't like the bill, obviously. What is your answer to a government who refuses to seal the border, more or less, and refuses to enforce the immigration laws? What is your answer?
Revolution.
Yeah. No, it's not.
No, see, my thing is that you have an argument there if that's the question. You know, they are not enforcing the border. They never were.
For political reasons.
Right, for whatever reason. Until they do that, it's just, I'll get to you after, Chris. You know, blah, 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 because this doesn't do anything border. We went a few years ago, Dean's not here. Dean Pleasant and I went down, some of you know who Steve Porak is. Sometimes he comes, he has the cowboy hat, he builds churches. It's Desert Sky Construction. So what happens is he's, Ernie, you gotta go down to the border with us. Let's go down there. I want you to see what's going on. Make sure you get your camo on. Okay? We're gonna go, yee-haw, get camo on. Well, I'm like, all right, so I put my camo thing on, and I thought we were gonna actually need to go in the brush and somebody's gonna threaten us or something, you know? And I see what's going on. Okay, I'm thinking that I'm not getting a video of me being all camo guy, right? So Dean and I are there, and we go, okay, the fence is these steel plates that they use for jungle landing pads. They're real thick corrugated, imagine corrugated roofs, you know, tin roofs, but it's really thick steel. And it has, like, you know, openings in it and so on. Well, they use those in Vietnam to just drop it in the jungle, they put it out, they made landing pads out of it. Well, they took that as surplus. They have all there in Naco, Arizona, and Naco, Mexico, there south of Tucson. Well, you go up there and you have this wall that's maybe this high, okay? It's 12, 14 feet high, and you go up to it and you see this, you know, it goes way out there, way out there. If you stand right up next to the wall, which is what CNN and Fox would do, is they go like this, and they look up, and they look, and it goes into infinity, goes into infinity. But I found that if you go 1, 2, about here, and you look down, you see the end of the wall and the end of the wall. And I go, it's like a quarter mile, half mile each way. I'm going, seriously, okay? So we drive right along the fence. We take Donna's Montero, we go down to the end of the fence, and I said, here, Dean, hold this camera. I got this video. Hold this camera. And the fence went to here, and he's standing there, and I go, I'm in Mexico and the U.S. I'm in Mexico and the U.S. Seriously. I'm in Mexico and the U.S. I'm going, are you kidding me? This, seriously? You know, oh, but they're going to come through the fence, all right? So what we did is I go, all right, now at the end of this fence, there's a rise that goes up. And it goes up a good couple hundred feet at a pretty steep angle, like 30-degree angle. So we get the Montero, you know, boom, 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 get up to the top, or near the top, and then we walk the last dozen yards or so. And at the top, there's this monument, the Treaty of Guadalajara or something. You know, when they did the secession and sold and gotten the gold and the whatever. Thank you. So they have this done, this monument, that here's the line, yada yada. As I'm on the top looking at this monument, there's the wall. You can see it. It has a start, it has an end. Right there, I can see it. Hundreds of miles, thousands of miles of desert. You know, of course it doesn't. Give me a break. I look down the ridge on here. Right there was the Minuteman fence. All of the stuff, you heard the Minuteman fence. We're going to build the fence. Give us money for the fence. We're doing the fence. Get close up to the fence. Look at the fence. Little bitty thing. I go, that's it? That's all of it? Seriously? Who's the propagandist behind this? Who's in the media at the federal level? This is all, it's all pretend. Nobody ever goes down there and looks. I wrote an article. I did, you know, multiple shows with Frosty Woldridge on, you know, the planet's going to suffocate with Mexicans in it or something.
Are you answering his question?
What's your answer? What's your answer to this problem we got?
It's not a problem.
So I look at this and I go, you know, so what is the point of this?